They should have shot more free throws than we did. And then the threes, 17 for 48 and 7 for 22 for us. So we did a lot of good things out there. We did enough to win the game, but they made more plays, got 50-50 balls. We talked about it earlier, transition and second chance points. And then, like I said, the threes.
Did you like the shots you got down the stretch?
I did. I thought we got some quality looks down the stretch. We missed a couple. Herb missed one, missed a three, and then that last second play where, we kind of went up, shot fake. We had a wide open look. We missed it.
Was that what you guys wanted on that one? Just getting it to Brandon in the middle?
Well, we was looking to get the ball to Z. Z saw the double team, and he kicked it out from there, yeah.
BI got going much better in the second half. You had, I think, 6 in the first half. What got that engine running?
Just continue to stay with the game, continue to trust, which he normally does. And we know that the scoring will come for him. We ran some things to get him going in the middle of the floor so they couldn't keep him on the side. And, once he got going, he got into a great rhythm out there.
The type didn't go how you wanted it since the last 6 games when they played. It's really good. How much do you think that extra time that they're spending together has helped them on the court?
I think it's extremely helpful, and we'll continue to work together on the floor, especially when we can have some practice time, getting those two guys in some actions. It's hard to guard, and we need to get to it a little bit more. And like I said, it's a long season, so hopefully we can continue to build on that.
There's more plays now with Z's bringing it up than what you guys at the start of the year. Just where are you kind of with trying to figure out how much he's going to do it and how much is going to go to Brandon or somebody else?
Sure. We got a number of guys that can initiate our plays. I think it's helpful. But then there's a time in the game where we want to put the ball in Zion's hands. We want to put it in Brandon's hands. And we want to work with those two guys, maybe our 5-man in the middle of the floor and put some shooters in the corners and sort of let the dominoes fall. Earlier in the season, CJ was initiating a lot for us, and that was the biggest difference.
Besides giving up so many threes at 48, did you like what you saw out of your defense?
I like what I saw. I thought we competed. Thought we played hard. Like I said, we did a lot of good things. We did probably enough to win the game. They beat us in the 50-50 balls. They beat us offensive rebounding. We had more rebounds, but they got offensive reboundings. Well, really second chance points. They capitalized on second chance points. We have to make our free throws. We're getting there. We have to make them. We make our free throws, we win the game. But I don't want to take anything away from the Jazz. They did what they needed to do on their home floor for 2 games, and this building is a tough building to win in.
For those three-pointers, Coach, is that a matter of running a different type of offense, just being committed to getting up shots no matter what, taking those threes? How do you increase that volume without a Trey and without a CJ?
Well, we had 36 last game, so we had 30-plus against the Clippers. So it's there. We just have to be committed and trusting to take those shots. All right. Thank you.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report. Pels go down, man. They lose another one to the Utah Jazz. How ridiculous. Man, I just don't know what to say about this team sometimes, man. I really don't. 114 to 112, they go down. They are now back to 500. Now they come home for a couple of games. They will match up with the Philadelphia 76ers on Wednesday. So we'll cover that as well. We'll preview that game here. But shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all joining me. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm Big Q. We got Lexxah will chime in as well. And this is totally ridiculous watching this happen. And shout out to the flock, man. Appreciate y'all being. And here on a late loss by the Pelicans, losing to the Utah Jazz both times in their building. And listen, these people, I mean, the Pelicans, just unbelievable. I'm starting to sound like a broken record. Over the last several years, I've been saying the same thing. We're going to go over some statistics. Lex, welcome on in. How you doing tonight?
Is that a trick question?
I mean, just as tricky as this damn.
Oh, goodness gracious. Look, Woosah.
Jeez.
Uh, I don't even know if I should.
You speechless? Is this what's going on here? They got you speechless here? Y'all
No, I'm not speechless. I got a whole lot of stuff to say.
okay.
Thank you. This is awful. This is awful. I know it's a long season. Let me start off saying that. We should have won both of these games. We should have won both of these games. But really down the stretch in this game, it's like will the real bad coaching please stand up? You know, going Slim Shady mode. That why are you the game is tied, it's going back and forth. The first part of that fourth quarter, like there was no because I don't think BI was in the game. Like there was no action with Zion at all. It's like he was just out there. They took a timeout. Out of that timeout, because I think by that time Utah like went up 8, like very quickly. And immediately they went to Zion and we ended up being down 1. This dude, Brother Green, took Zion out at the 6-minute mark at a clutch moment when he just went on, he was in a rhythm. He took him out. Now, Brandon did come in and he was making stuff, but why did you take Zion out? We're trying to win the game. Are we not trying to win the game?
I heard Lex, I heard what the comment what Joel said about he gave him his last rest break.
I'm not trying to hear that. That's the problem. It's clutch time. You have a chance to win the game. No, you don't rest your star. You don't put him on the bench. You keep him out there because you're trying to win. Man, let them try to take LeBron out and the game is tied. Let them try to, like, dog, are you for real? No, we trying to win. We trying to win. This dude is trying to lose. That was the most ignorant, low IQ coaching move I have ever seen. That makes absolutely no sense. You bring him back in like with a 4:13 to go. 4:13. You cooled him off.
Yep.
You didn't go to him. Nobody was going to him in the start of the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Then you take a full timeout. You go to him immediately. You're down 1 after being down 8. You take him out. Oh my gosh, man! Are you all seeing what I'm saying? Are you seeing the what do you call it? The order of operations here? Like this does not make any sense. You're not, like, to me, that screams out, I am not trying to win this game. I'm not trying to win this game at all. I don't want to win this game at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is saying. And it's like, I'm starting to question, Green, are you on the Pelican side or are you on their side? Because when you're making decisions like this, I can see other like coaching staffs and coaches like sitting there laughing at, did he just take out the dude who brought them back in a short amount of time? He just took them out. Thank you, Willie. Thank you so much. Then who went off? Kessler.
Yep.
Kessler went in there and he started making all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Have Zion attack that dude. He was in foul trouble.
He was.
That's why
Yeah.
he was sitting down.
Yeah.
Like this. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. If don't nobody else see this, I don't know what to tell you. Because something is wrong with this. Something is wrong with this. Something is wrong with this. That makes absolutely no sense. In all my years of watching basketball from other teams, I have never seen them in a close game. The game is tied. They're going up. Then we go up. Then it's tied again. You keep in your star player. Man, break protocol. Stop sticking with the status quo. That's what your problem is. You lack creativity. You lack imagination, and it shows. You're sticking to a script. You can't play the game. The game has a flow. You have to know when to break the rules.
It's interesting. I'm starting to think, Lex. I don't know if this is this rest thing, giving Zion rest in these weird moments of the game, and the he can't play back to backs, and they got to give him rest at certain points. They gave him a rest break.
They gave him a rest in the last
Yeah,
game, Big Q.
I
He
know.
didn't play the last game.
I know.
Let that dude play the last 6 minutes of the game when the game is close.
I
We
don't. I don't.
need his gravity. We need his traction. We need his attacking. Like he was attacking, like really, he was getting more aggressive. He went to the foul line. He made to both his free throws. You see what I'm saying? That's a good rhythm.
Mhm.
Let him keep attacking. And then that's opening up the outside. That's giving guys more space.
Mhm.
And then BI, he was getting off, but it's like, why do you just have why do you just have BI in?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know what these it doesn't make any sense why he rested the last game. Then this period of time in the last 6 minutes, he could have just stayed in the game, and they took him out of the game. And I don't know if
Man,
I don't know if that's Willie, Lex. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I don't
no, it
not,
is because you know why?
it's,
He's the head of the snake. He's
he
making those calls. He's
he
making those calls.
he
Like
might
this.
be the head coach, but I'm saying we got a meddling octopus around here, and I'm saying these rests, I'm his paws and his tentacles are here somewhere, because it doesn't make any sense for you to pull him out at that point in time talking about rest when he rested the day before. So I agree with you on that. I don't know what that is,
I'm
but
really mad that, yeah, I mean, for Joel to say that, like, you know what, they shouldn't have been saying that. Like, why are they taking Zion out when he just brought us back from 8 down,
mhm,
had us down 1, and you took him out? He
no,
scored all the points to
yep.
bring us back down 1. Like, we are we trying to win? Are we trying to win, man? Like, I mean, uh this is just that's very disturbing to me.
It's not
That's very disturbing.
it's
And
not
not
how
only
to
that,
watch basketball, Lex. I tell you
I'm
what.
so glad that Zion, I'm so glad that he got that technical. You know what? I think he should probably get one every game because there was a change in that.
Mhm.
It wasn't like a huge change, but there was a nice change as far as giving the team like something. Like, okay, Zion just got teed up. Cause I mean, the thing is, this is I mean, we need something. And clearly, clearly, we know Willie ain't gonna say nothing because you don't want to back your players. You're actually supporting, be like, hey, we're not gonna get those calls. Okay, so you're just gonna be complacent about that. You're just gonna be cool with that and stay in your place and sit quietly and not say anything. Back your players. Back your players. We don't need you to be cool and be all, reserved when it comes to, you know, refs not making calls. Because you know what? Zion, he bumped George. Okay? You all remember that? He bumped him
Mhm.
like in the third quarter. And Zion went to the ref and he didn't have a problem with the call. He had absolutely no problem with the call. But it's like, that's what I want on my end. What I just did, I bumped him. I can admit that. But when I get bumped, just like that, I want to get that call too.
You teed him up.
No, not at that moment. He went and talked to him, diplomatically.
You ain't listen.
And then later, that's when no, it wasn't in the third quarter. I'm sorry. I think it was I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sorry. But I know it happened. I know it happened. But then, he got the same treatment. It's like, okay, dude, like, where was my call? Because I'm still getting bumped. I'm just not moving or going off my track like he did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really upset down the stretch. I know they missed free throws. I understand that they did that. But down the stretch, we lost by 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. No, not every game is going to be a blowout. Not every, you're going to have to win close games. It is what it is. Apparently we've been having, a problem with Utah, but these last two games, we should have won them. Like, I honestly feel like we should have won them. I mean, and I think somebody said the other day, the Pelicans are to the Clippers what the Utah Jazz are for the Pelicans. Because we've been having the Clippers number and Utah's been having the Pelicans number.
Only because we play low IQ sloppy basketball when we play the Jazz. And when you play
even so, they've been having our number. They swept us last season too. Do we have any more games with them?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got 2 more games. We got one late in.
So it's not a sweep. They just swept us at their crib. But this is that's why the other day, Big Q, I was asking what type of team are the Pels trying to be? Are we trying to be a lower tier team? Are we trying to be a play-in team? Are we trying to be an elite team? What are we trying to be? What are we trying to do?
I would have to aim at them being and trying to be an elite team, but it's a crunch window here. I mean,
well, the thing is that, like, in order to do that, details matter. Being able and the thing is, I know when James was talking, he was like, things take time but man, Willie was doing the same stuff last season. He was doing the same stuff last season. And it's stuff like this, like small details like this, that is not going to allow the team to get over the hump because you're in your own way. You're holding the team back.
You know what, Lex? I think, like I was saying, I agree with everything you're saying, and I appreciate all the passion and all of the intelligence you're throwing in there. You're absolutely right. I'm not satisfied with this, and despite the fact that the Utah Jazz hit 17 3-pointers on the Pelicans, they only won by 2. But once again, we bring it back to the free throws. They were 17 of 25 tonight for 68%. They missed 8 free throws. They lost by 2. Those people hit 17 3-pointers. The Pelicans hit 7 3-pointers, and they still lost by 2. So, I mean, they kept the turnovers down, but it's just they even at a point, they were even really good in the points in the paint. They had 30 more points in the paint than the Utah Jazz did. The game yesterday, what was it? The previous Utah game, Pelicans had that if they execute properly. They just play sloppy. They do these weird. I don't know what's going on with the Pelicans, if it's psychological or not. But the Zion Williamson thing is, to me, and I know what time it is. I know what kind of coach Willie is. I know what type of guy he's going to be. He's not going to buck Griffin on it unless something got really dire. But I'm telling you, it shows. I know David Griffin since he's been on this team. The Zion Williamson rest situation is tied to him, and Willie can't be overridden. Now Willie can buck and get pissy with him, and try to wrestle control of him. But that all of that stuff that deals with him resting the day after games, or he can't play back to backs. He has to have certain periods of time within the game to rest, even when it involves the team winning the game. It's a factor in it, and all of that is tied to David Griffin. I promise you it is, because no coach in his right mind will take his best player out who's cooking.
But
And
you know what? It seems like that's been consistent. I mean, and
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I know we don't know exactly what's going on behind closed doors and things, but because Griff wasn't on the bench, was he? I'm saying, like,
no, but Griffin's even if he's not on that bitch, his tentacles stretch all the way to no matter where they go. He is tied to Zion Williamson, and he's super cautious over Zion playing these back to backs. He's mentioned the fact that he has these discussions about them and how the training. Zion lost faith in the training staff. They had revamped the training staff, brought some different people in, had him to buy into that. So I mean, I'm telling you, all these weird restrictions on him him not playing back to back, despite the fact that he's not even on the injury report, and the fact that at
and
certain
he's
weird
the only one like that.
he's
Believe it
the
or
only,
not. I
because
know,
that's
everybody's had something to say, but it's like there has not been one game that Zion has missed where
Mhm.
he has been injured. I want everybody to know that. So
Right,
this guy has been healthy. He's been
right.
healthy, and I know it's still the beginning stages, but that's the main thing for him to, stay available. And I kind of feel like even looking at the way Zion's playing, you know, obviously he knows that, over the course of time he's been trying to get in shape. So the thing is, I think he's more cautious with his movements. He's trying to, pick his spots better. You know what I'm saying? Where he can just better situate himself. I know he was falling like in those first beginning games or at the start of the season. You don't see him falling as much. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like he's really trying to really think about everything out there, which is really good. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
I mean, he's trying to be responsible, but it's like at some point in time, are we going to trust that Zion is healthy and he's ready to go? Because, like I said,
I think they will, Lex. I
you
think they
can't
will.
play skittish. You can't play scared. Any sport that you play, like, there's always a high probability that you can get injured. I
Mhm.
mean, it is what it is. When sports and playing, that goes hand in hand. And I'm not saying that we should just take that risk, but the thing is, I mean, think about it. We take that risk every day that we live. Like I said, walking out our door. No, nobody's saying, "Oh, I don't want to walk out my door because I might, go down the stairs and fall down the stairs and break my neck." Nobody lives like that. So we're going to trust that, you know what? I'm not clumsy. I could trip down the stairs, but you know what? I do have some reflexes. I could catch myself. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
we don't live our lives like that. So why should we play the game like that?
Because
Why would you play a player like that? He's either ready to go or he's not. Now we already know his past, but I really do feel like, that stuff is going to change or turn around. It did for Steph Curry. It did for Joel Embiid. Why can't it change like that for Zion? Do we believe that he's healthy and he's ready to go, or do we not? And I think that's the thing. Like I feel like they're being too skittish. They're too scared. Like, okay,
right.
okay, no. Oh goodness, the way he came down. Okay, he came out of his shoe. Is he all right? You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
Mhm.
Calm down. It
That's the fingerprints that's Griffin's fingerprints. He's overly cautious with this, and nobody else is getting done this to them. Most of these guys, like a Jose Alvarado, Larry Nance, these guys come off of injury and they don't play for a while, and then they get in there and they get these minutes. And you see Jose how he was playing over prior to this matchup here. Jose, he got 14 minutes a night. So I mean, he's been in there getting his work in there. Larry had 9 minutes tonight, so he's
Yeah,
rolling these guys in.
Larry don't even look
He ain't
like
he ain't
he
yeah, he's
looks
still
like
banged
he's
up.
missing, like he is not all there.
He's
Like,
not.
you
Yeah.
know, he just doesn't. And the thing is like I'm glad he just played that 9 minutes and not more. But he needs to be worked back in. And I know that Nance is again Willie's one of his favorite guys. I mean, he loves that small ball Larry Nance at the 5. But it's like, dude, just you still it's not just looking out for Zion. You have to look out when these guys come back from injury. You can't just throw them in the thick of things. Work them way back. Let them get into a rhythm. Because you can clearly see Nance, he's been struggling. Jose at moments, he hasn't been doing well. I know Dyson. Dyson, he really struggled today. He's starting to show like, okay, he's ready to go back to the bench, because he did play solid defense. But the fact that he was not knocking down and they were just letting him take the threes because he wasn't making anything. What was he from behind the arc?
Dyson was 0 for 4 tonight. He was
Yeah.
0 for 4 and 1 for 6. Yeah, his shot is not. Yeah, he's been struggling the
Yeah,
last couple
like
games.
that's been hurting us. Like it's like, man, like we're actually getting the open looks. We're getting the shots that we want, but guys just are not knocking them down. Even Jay Hawk, he went cold for a little bit. But
Yeah,
again, it's like I think Willie cooled him off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's this stuff is just weird, man. Just the management. Najee, he had a good game. I think he should have got more of those minutes than Dyson because he can play both ends of the floor. But he was giving us something on the offensive end, which is what we needed. That one unit that came back and took the lead by 3, I think in that second quarter, that was a nice unit. They actually went on a defensive run. They got like 4 or 5 stops in a row.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, they did well.
I
They
mean,
did.
that unit was great. It would have been nice if he would have memorized that unit and played them. I don't think he played that unit again. But it's things like that. Like, why can't we pinpoint? Okay, wow, this worked. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay,
Mhm.
this isn't working. Like, what are you all doing as far as are you studying the course of the game? Like the flow of the game, like who's doing well, who has a hot hand, what lineups are working well. Those are the things that we need to be looking at. I
Yeah.
don't feel like we're looking at those things enough.
Yeah, we there were several players that came in and kind of lit a fire with the Pelicans. Najee was one of them. He came in there and got himself 28 minutes. He scored 14 points and 9 rebounds. He had 3 assists and 3 steals in the game. He was in there doing his thing. And of course, Herb played 32 minutes, but Herb had 4 personal fouls. He was dealing with foul trouble for most of the night. And like I said, when you look at the production, like you're right on Larry Nance. Larry Nance shouldn't be playing in this game, and we probably need to go back to Robinson Earl, who wouldn't be a
No,
bad decision to utilize Robinson Earl because Larry Nance is obviously, you look at him, Larry doesn't look right, man. He really doesn't.
Cody
So
Zeller has been doing well.
he got 9 minutes tonight, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but like really, it's like, look, it's like, and I don't know. I mean, maybe I hope. Well, you just said that Larry Nance didn't look right out there, but
no,
it's
he
like
don't look right.
other people got to know. Somebody on the bench, man. I don't think Nance has it tonight. You know what I'm saying? Cody Zeller has been giving some really good production. It may
Yeah,
not scream out, but he really hustles and he gets rebounds. I mean, and what have we been talking about? We need more rebounding. Like in warm-ups, this is what AD and Joel was saying, but they were like the big men for Utah, they don't work on shooting. They don't work on dribbling. They specifically work on rebounding. during
That's right.
warmups, like right before the game.
Yep.
That's what they work on. Dude, everybody else is working on their dribbling, doing their dribbling routine, shooting routine. Man, they're working on rebounding. Okay, if they're working on rebounding, we need to, that's what they specialize in. We need to counter that. We need to counter that with rebounding. Put him in there. Clearly, like everybody was, their whole team was on the rebounds. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, I think we actually had like more rebounds than them. But I think more of those came
Yeah.
like down the stretch.
Yeah, we had 48 versus the 43, but you're absolutely right with some of their bigs, man. They were in there doing their thing, and like I said, they were actually a pretty decent, for a talent perspective. They had nobody actually that can do anything with Zion or Bi, but as a team, they just did a better job. They just had more of a more consistent and thorough effort than the Pelicans did, and there wasn't a vast gap there. But like I said, it's weird, man, how all of this is playing, because you see the Pelicans early on and had that really crappy first quarter, and then they were in pretty much for most of the game in the chase position, trying to catch up to the Jazz, and then the Jazz would do just enough to keep them at arm's length, whether it was the young point guard shooting threes, and then next thing you know, you seen Clarkson get involved in the game. He was trying to do his thing. He finished with a double on the night. But like I said, the utilization of how the coach for the Utah Jazz was using these lineups, like in the first matchup, he had the reserves coming in there first, and he kind of mixed the starters in. It was a very unique mix-up of things, but it wasn't enough to throw us off. Really, we should have won both these matchups. But like I
Yeah,
said,
we
when it
could
comes
have.
down to, you should have.
Yeah.
But Lex, like I keep saying, when it comes down, we can talk strategy. We could talk X's and O's, but when it comes down to it, it comes down to the fundamentals. Both games, Pelicans hit free throws, they win the game. It's as simple as that. We left 8 points. We left 8 points on, out there. I mean, you only lost by 2. You hit half the foul shots that you missed, you win the game. That's a big sticking point, especially when you're on the road. When you battling fatigue, when you battling the team that you're going against and the refs, because you're in their building, you got to hit the foul shots when they give it to you. You got to hit them down. The refs gave them 25 attempts. The Pelicans finished 17 for 25 for 68%. And remember, like I said, what's really is crazy, because you look at the statistics after the end of the game, because that's what I do. I watch the game and then say, man, well, let me see if one correlates with the last. It is crazy. 17 3-pointers tonight by the Jazz versus 7 by the Pelicans. That's 10 more. 10 more. And then they hit 23 of 28 from the foul line for 82%, they being the Jazz. The Pelicans beat these people 68 to 38 in points in the paint. I mean, and like I said, even though they didn't shoot well, Pels was 7 of 22 from 3-point land. They were 50% shooting from the field. They were 44 of 88 for 50%. Jazz were 42% on 37 of 88. So the Pelicans, from a standpoint of, and they did enough to stay in the game, because if somebody hitting 10 3-pointers more than you, and then they hit 23 free throws, that's you looking at something where you're supposed to been pretty much a double-digit loss or something like that. But to lose by 2 and then people hit 10 more 3-pointers than you did. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to hit the foul shots. We got to do the right stuff. They kept the turnovers down. That's a plus, but that's just one of the things that we often talk about when you're on the road. You can't be turning the ball over a lot, and they kept that down, and you got to hit them damn free throws, Lex. There's no way to get around that. You have to hit the free throws, and we didn't. We left 8 of them out there, and you lose by 2 tonight. So, like I said, but we going into the next matchup. Let's kind of move past it, because this one is really a messed up game for me. These last 2 games are really crappy. The Pelicans fall to 9-9. They're 3-5 on the road.
I do want to share something.
Go ahead, Lex. What you got?
I saw this on the other day, but right now, OKC is number 2 in the West. and the Orlando Magic are number 2 in the East.
It's early.
That's where we should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, does anybody else feel that way? Like, what is going on here? You know, I don't think anybody saw that coming, especially with OKC. But golly, man,
I
like
don't know, Lex. They might be having some problems after all that stuff that we've been hearing about. That might change a little bit, in a little bit with
I
OKC.
don't know because they ain't really saying a whole lot. Like, shoot, I know Malika, she ain't saying nothing about it with her
Malika ain't gonna say
opinionated
nothing about it, sweetie. You
with
know
her
that.
opinionated behind.
She is
Um,
not gonna say nothing
but
about that.
hey, but
She ain't
I'm
gonna
gonna I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let it go. But let it be a brother though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's but that's what
Look, honey, I done peeped you. You know what I'm saying? I done peeped you. But
Mhm.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it's strange, and as you can hear, Lex is kind of upset about the low IQ basketball the Pelicans are playing with. But like I said, some of these games, I don't expect them to blow these teams out. But if you do the fundamental, you do the right stuff, you make that a part of your mindset, like
yeah, the details.
the details, right? The attention, like
Polishing up, fine tuning.
Daniels, right? And Daniels says it all the time on the broadcast when I hear him. He talks about attention to detail. He keeps saying attention to detail. His two favorite phrases that I hear him say is attention to detail and know your personnel. That's something that he always kind of chides out. But
Somebody don't know the personnel.
well, yeah, he's saying it a lot because I'm seeing it. The guy,
You trying to help somebody out.
right?
Be like, dog, come on, listen.
Yeah,
All right.
it's I don't know, Lex. I mean, like I said, they've lost. They got two more games left. They'll see them later on, in December, and then I think in January again they'll see the Utah Jazz. So I mean, really, the Jazz ain't a team. No disrespect to the Utah Jazz, but the Utah Jazz ain't shit where we
Yeah,
supposed
they
to be.
ain't about to do
Season
nothing. They ain't about
two.
to do nothing with those
Right.
wins.
This is a team like the first loss to the Jazz, and they're gonna say, "Well, we enough to beat the Pelicans." The Pelicans is beating themselves. I mean, that's the first and foremost. The Pelicans are beating their self before the Utah Jazz get to them, before the reps get to them. They're beating their self. If they do what they're supposed to do, not and all this fancy stuff about the motion offense and what Borrego's doing, that's fine and dandy. But in order for any functional system to be operating, you got to have a certain set of principles that you operate on that work. And that is on that sturdy foundation the house is built, and you build on top of that and it'll last. The Pelicans have a shaky foundation. They're trying to,
Yeah.
like I said, it's a lot of stuff they're trying to make work. Like I'm still saying they need a point guard, man. Like it's some of our guys sometimes, whether it's Zion or Bi, they kind of prone to turn the ball over at time, make these bad passes. They're not, it's just, at times that you it's a rotating point guard role. Like you have Point Zion here, you have Bi here. I'm just a traditionalist. Like, man, you at some point, perhaps we need a guy that can kind of set the table for these guys for the offense to flow. I get you want to do the novelty thing and have this guy do this and do that. But I mean, there's some stuff that's going on here. But fundamentally speaking, Lex, I don't understand how, and I think over the last couple of games, the Pelicans been shooting around 60% from the foul line. These are free throw shots. It's just ridiculous to me, man. So
It is.
tonight you get that, you make it happen. So let's move. And I know this is going to be tough to do, and this is going to be kind of a hardy, a pretty tough preview to do for the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 12-5. The
Yeah,
Sixers
they
are.
just blew out they man. Yeah, the Lakers 138-94 or something.
Mhm. 76ers are they're doing their thing, man. So right now the Sixers, let me see if I can pull up they're second in the East, second in the Atlantic Conference. They're a game behind the Boston Celtics. They're on a 2-game winning streak. And like I said, 12-5. They're 5-2 on the road. Last 10 games, they six wins out of the last 10 games. So Joel Embiid, they got rid of Harden. They got young Maxey there who's turning into something special. Like I said, Lex, there's talk about CJ McCollum supposed to be working his way back sometimes this week. I was that's good, but I was really waiting for Trey Murphy news. That's what I was really kind of
Yeah, I
waiting.
think everybody is. Everybody is.
CJ's cool.
He
No
he
disrespect to you.
open
He's good.
he opens up the floor. I mean, he shoots those 40-footers.
Mhm.
Man, we could really use that spacing. That spacing is golden. I mean, and I know Jayhawk, he's doing this thing, but that's one thing about Trey being 6'11" and shooting 40 feet out.
Mhm.
That's gonna open up so much space. That's gonna open up everything
Let
because
but
his spacing is just so golden.
that's the thing. That's what I was waiting for Lex to try to see about that. But the Sixers, talking about the Sixers, you can see your favorite matchup indicator got them just hammering the Pelicans over 61%. The Sixers, they averaged what, 120 and a half. They're third in the NBA in points scored per game. How do we beat the 76ers in the Smoothie King Center, Lex?
High IQ, attention to detail.
Okay.
Better, coaching. But um, I'll bring it down a notch.
No, no,
uh,
that's good. I mean, but how do we do they do that? Is that's a better question. Do the Pelicans do what
when they play them on Wednesday?
Wednesday? Right.
Um, I hope so. Um, I'm gonna be honest, like the times that we have played the 76ers, we actually do well against them. I don't know if but I know shoot, last season, before Zion went down, they couldn't do nothing with him, not even Embiid. Um, but they do need to get back in the win column. After this, these last two games against Utah.
Right.
So maybe they will have some fire under their belt, especially, coming back and beating a good team, a very good team that's playing very well. Tyrese Maxey, I know he's been on a tear. But again, between Herb and Dyson, I think that will be a solid assignment for them. I know tonight they kept Jordan Clarkson to 16 points, which is really good because he does have moments where he can just go off on you. But Maxie, he has been a whole lot more consistent. So really just really matching the intensity and more. We're gonna be at home. We got to want it more. Got to make better decisions. Got to hit the boards. Got to be a step faster. Um, to get over the hump. So I think those are the biggest things. Joel, he's gonna be Joel, but we you know we just gotta play harder and play smarter.
Well, Lex, it's going to be a tough game against this team, man, and it's Pelicans at 500 right now, and Philly's playing pretty good. They are pretty good on the defensive side of the ball. They're second in the NBA in blocks. They're top 10 in steals. Uh, they are tops in the NBA in terms of free throw attempts, second in free throw percentage. So, and they're a top 5 scoring per game. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how we handle this, man, because I think IQ, I ain't gonna say our team is a low IQ team, but at times it's really concerning, some of the moves that they make. And the question you asked about the Zion thing early on in the broadcast about, do we get past that, like to a point where he's not resting on back-to-backs. I think at some point when the year turns over, when we get like on that side of things, we get into 2024, we're going to see some things kind of change and shift in terms of how they're dealing with Zion. I think they've been doing that approach over the last several years because all of the injuries that he's had, and then the new deal and everything that's going on with him, and they just doing the extra cautious stuff. I assure you that's what's going on with these weird rest periods.
That's what they've been doing, but
Yes, and they're going to continue to do it until they get him because they know it's a time. They understand the timeline with the contracts. They know what time it is. The Pelicans had to hit this year. They got to hit it this year. They got to hit this year.
Yeah, because
So
changes are coming. Like I told
right,
you, like
right.
they are coming. Like everybody needs to know that there's going to be a change this year. We don't know what it's going to be, but it definitely depends on Trey, how he does, like looking at his performance. But
Mhm.
we can't pay everybody.
That's right.
Gail Benson is not going to have like 4 max players. And then you have JV. I mean, he's not a max player, but I mean, he does have a nice contract. So something is coming. And I think between, Zion, Brandon, and CJ, somebody's probably going to be leaving,
Mhm.
you know?
Well, yeah, and but the question, and people are looking at BI, and with that situation, would he be the guy that they're looking at going out versus what Trey Murphy is? So I mean that's something that they're studying on. So they have to see something this year to make that determination. Now, um, CJ McCollum helps because he scores. He scores the ball. He helps out. He's a 20-point a game scorer. He helps. His defense is not there, but he gives you the points. So like on a night like tonight, him scoring could have helped. But you could say the same thing about Trey Murphy with his sharpshooting and what he brings. And ultimately, I think when those guys make it back, not even thinking about, I don't know if Matt Ryan gets in there and gets an opportunity to play with all our guys filtering back, but his sharpshooting could have helped out today. I love his energy and his shooting, but we need, but outside of that, yeah, it's definitely they have to hit this year. They have to see what this team could do this year, being that we haven't seen a large sample of games from BI and Zion outside of what we've seen currently. What was it, like a dozen or less that they played together prior to the time that we seeing this year? So I mean, they really have to see, because that's a big investment that's going forward. And like I said, the injuries have basically robbed us of whatever we had over the last several years of building up to a crescendo. So I mean, the Philly game, man, I don't know. This is going to be a tough one for me. The Pelicans do come home and they get an opportunity to come back for 2 games, starting with Philly. So they should feel pretty good. They feel comfortable. They look comfortable at home in the Smoothie King Center to get all the support. So that should be a help. Do they get back in their bag with the shooting? Do the defense gets back to where it is and everything? I could see that, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It just at certain intervals, I think coaching is an issue with Willie. What he does from time to time, that's a big issue. So I'm gonna say Philly gets the victory over the Pelicans on this matchup. I'm gonna have to say Philly. Philly's playing well right now. That doesn't mean that the Pelicans that they can that they'll just run over the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans are gonna fight, man. But until these people can consistently learn how to hit free throws, man. I mean, what could I tell you, man? The 2 Jazz games of victories, man. Some of these other games that we lost during the season, you go look at the foul line. We were having problems shooting the ball. We was terrible on certain segments of the game playing defensively before we went on this little energetic run when Herb came back after Willie was sick and Borrego kickstarted all of this stuff. But
Yeah, he did.
prior to that, what we were looking like junk. We were despondent. We were looking the same as what we were last year, looking trashy, inconsistent. So I mean, the energy is there, but it's just the fundamentals. They're just not they're not a consistent fundamental team, man. That would take you to the next level. that stuff helps you win games. It helps you sustain games, even with tough, ugly games like the Utah matchup. When it's a scrappy game, when you do the fundamental, you're going to eke out and win the game. That's what it come down to. So, until I see that consistently, hopefully it'll be soon. I'm gonna have to say no on the Philly win.
I want to say this real quick. Like even the games that the Pels have won, they like, for instance, even with our winning record with the start of the season, we were like 4-1 or something like that, and then we went on the 5-game losing streak. But even in the 4-1, like the energy was a huge problem. It just wasn't there, which was kind of weird because it's like everybody should be pretty excited, when the season starts. But it's like we weren't really kicking it into that gear when we started. Then obviously we had the 5-game losing streak. Guys were in and out, personal reasons, all that stuff. But even so, like we should just, I think, looking at these games, I just haven't been pleased fully, even in the games that we've won, because the thing is, it's like a collection. It's something that's over time. Like, again, when we're not paying attention to details or just, making better decisions, hitting free throws, like those are things that when you're looking at all these games collectively, like we're not, we can't get to the point where we can be an elite team because, again, we're getting in our own way. I know we can talk about the officiating, um, the opponent team, obviously, because they're not just going to let us hit layups after layup. But the thing is, we already have that opposition, but the third opposition is our biggest problem. We're in our own way. We can't get out of our way, and Zion has actually mentioned that. Like that's something that's been hurting us. It really hasn't been the officiating. It hasn't been the opponent team. It's ourselves. And once we can get over that, which is really sad that, that's the biggest problem with this team, whether it's, I know they had a team meeting or, somebody not being happy or, Willie being bullheaded, not making the change, not calling a timeout when he needs to call a timeout or something, or somebody has a hot hand and he took him out, stuff like that. That's not winning at a high level. That's not a recipe to winning at a high level. And that's again, like what you said, even with the free throws, that's us. And it's horrible that, shoot, I'd rather pinpoint it on the refs or, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody else, but we can't do that. It's like, golly, we're having in-house problems, man. Just having like just small detail type stuff. But I just think like even in the wins, like I'm glad we're winning on, we have won in some of these games, but you can just see like, golly, man, we won the game, but that wasn't a really good decision. Like, golly, he shouldn't have done that because if that was a bigger game, like we could have lost. You know what I'm saying? It could have changed the complexity of the game and it could have been an L. So it's just crazy how this stuff works. We really got to get out of our own way and play the game the right way.
Yeah, the Pelicans are you're absolutely right, Lex. They are tripping over their own feet. They are beating themselves in a lot of these games, especially when you don't make free throws. You definitely kicking yourself in your own, so in the backside. So some people think the Sixers, the Pelicans can get the Sixers. Man, I hope so, man. I really do. But they gotta to take it up to the next level because the Sixers is a tough team. They're one of the top teams in the NBA right now. They're playing a very good brand of basketball, and the Pelicans have to elevate their game to get up there and meet that intensity. Now, they've been playing with some really good energy, and that's the thing, but just keeping that high IQ overall team dynamic, and they have to hit the shots when they're available. And Willie has to do what he does, man. And it's just tough gauging this team. It really is. All right. So anyway, with that being said, man, we're going to get ready to get out on that, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all chiming in for this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report. I hope I wish I had better news for you guys in this for this episode. So we dropped 2 to the Jazz on the road. Ridiculous. They will come back on Wednesday and take on the Philadelphia 76ers. They also have a Friday matchup, but first thing first, the Sixers on Wednesday in the Smoothie King Center. Let's hope the Pels can get it together. I'm back on that opium. That's right. That's all I got. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got back on that opium, but they will lose this game in my mindset. But anyway, with that being said, we're going to get on that, man. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed, man. Pelican Postgame in here representing, man. And man, I don't know what to say about this, man. But 9-9, bro. Let's see if we can get over the hump. Much love to the family. Holler at you on the flip side. Go Pels.
Go.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform's store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue.